There are moments in life when something deeper stirs inside you. Moments when your soul whispers, "You were made for more." Maybe you've felt that quiet, unshakable sense that you don't quite fit in. You've walked through life carrying a mystery inside, something sacred, something different. And no matter how much the world told you to blend in, you couldn't. That's because you were never meant to. You've been marked. This message is not for everyone. But if you're here, then perhaps it is for you. Perhaps the reason you've always felt different is because you are. You are among the ones God has chosen to carry light in a world gripped by shadows. And if that stirs something in your soul, you're about to discover why. Today, we unveil 3 spiritual marks, divine signatures etched into your spirit, that silently reveal your identity as one of God's chosen ones. These are not just traits. They are sacred assignments, heavenly fingerprints placed upon your life. Let's begin. Part 1. The first mark. Spiritual discernment. You feel what others cannot see. There are moments when your spirit picks up what your eyes cannot see. You walk into a space, and although everyone around you seems fine, something in the air feels wrong. You feel the tension before it's spoken. You sense the shift before it's visible. It's not paranoia. It's perception. And if this sounds like you, then you carry something sacred. You carry the first spiritual mark of the chosen ones: discernment. Spiritual discernment is more than intuition. It's a divine awareness, a supernatural ability to detect what lies beneath the surface. While others react to what they can touch and see, you respond to what is sensed in the spirit. This is not just insight. It is insight aligned with God's whisper. It may have made you feel different all your life. Maybe you were labeled too sensitive, too intense, or too suspicious. You've probably been told to lighten up or stop overthinking. But what if your sensitivity isn't a flaw to fix, but a gift to honor? What if God designed you to sense what others overlook, not to overwhelm you, but to equip you? This is the mark of a forerunner, one who walks ahead of the natural. It's the mark carried by prophets like Elisha. In 2 Kings 6, Elisha warned Israel of enemy ambushes, not because he saw them, but because God revealed them to his spirit. His discernment was so precise that it baffled the enemy king, who thought there must be a traitor in his ranks. In truth, Elisha's spiritual radar made the unseen seen. You may carry the same kind of radar. You feel what's off before anyone says a word. You've known things before they happened, only to watch them unfold. You read atmospheres. You sense deception. You notice the shift in energy when someone enters the room. These aren't just feelings. They're divine alerts. God wired your soul as an early warning system, not just for your protection, but for purpose. But let's be honest. Living with this gift is not always easy. Discernment can feel like a burden when no one believes you, when you speak up and people roll their eyes, when you call out danger and they call you dramatic. But discernment doesn't wait for validation. It's not about being right. It's about being ready. And readiness often looks foolish until the storm hits. Even Jesus lived with this mark. He saw motives behind smiles, truth behind flattery, and hearts behind words. He wasn't impressed by what appeared clean. He looked at what was hidden. And because his discernment was pure, his actions were always in alignment with heaven's will. So if you've been wrestling with this sensitivity, if you've ever asked, "Why do I feel so much?" know this: you're not broken. You're awake. And being awake in a sleeping world will always feel lonely at first. But loneliness doesn't mean you're lost. It means you've been set apart. Discernment is the first mark of the chosen. It is not something you learn. It is something you uncover. A sacred frequency your soul was already tuned to long before the world tried to silence it. And now, it's time to trust it. Part 2. The second mark. Healing presence. Your energy shifts atmospheres. Not all power is loud. Not every miracle begins with a word. Some of the most profound transformations happen in silence, through presence alone. And if you've ever noticed how people calm down around you, how children are drawn to you, or how animals instinctively trust you, then you are carrying the second mark of the chosen, a healing presence. This is not charisma. It's not charm or personality. It's something far more sacred. It's the atmosphere you carry, the invisible yet undeniable energy that surrounds you. Without trying, you bring peace into anxious spaces. Without speaking, you shift the mood in a room. And without knowing it, you've become a sanctuary for the weary and the wounded. Children and animals recognize it before adults do. Have you ever caught a toddler staring at you with wide, knowing eyes? Or noticed how a dog rests quietly at your feet, even though it just met you? That's not coincidence. It's confirmation. Pure hearts, untethered by social conditioning, sense spiritual truth. They feel what many have forgotten how to notice. The Bible speaks to this in Matthew 21:16, where Jesus says, "From the lips of children and infants, you, Lord, have called forth your praise." There's something in you that resonates with innocence, because what you carry comes from a place of spiritual purity. When Jesus walked the earth, children ran to him, not because he performed tricks, but because his spirit was safe. His presence was love. You may not realize it, but you carry a piece of that same essence. It's why people open up to you without knowing why. It's why friends and strangers alike find themselves confiding in you, seeking your peace like thirsty souls drawn to water. They're not responding to your words. They're responding to your frequency. And it's not always easy. Sometimes your presence reveals more than comfort. It reveals discomfort in others. When your light enters a room, it gently exposes what's been hidden in the shadows. Some will be drawn to that light. Others may retreat from it. Not because of you, but because of what your energy awakens in them. You become a mirror, reflecting not only peace, but truth. In John 10:27, Jesus says, "My sheep listen to my voice. I know them, and they follow me." It's not about sound. It's about recognition. Your spirit speaks before you do, and those who are attuned to God's light will always recognize it in you. No title, no introduction, no explanation needed. This is the mark of a healing presence. It's a quiet kind of power. Soft but strong, calm but deeply commanding. The world doesn't always understand it, but the soul does. Because presence is prophetic. It reveals who you are before you say a word. So the next time someone says they feel peace around you, believe them. The next time a baby smiles at you for no reason, smile back. It's a spiritual hello. And the next time you sense that your stillness is changing the air around you, don't shrink. That's God moving through you. You don't just walk into rooms, you transform them. This is the second mark of the chosen, and you were born to carry it. Part 3. The third mark. Creative alignment. Your thoughts shape reality. Have you ever noticed how often your thoughts seem to come to life? How a person you were thinking about suddenly calls you? Or how something you imagined, clearly, deeply, repeatedly, began to unfold almost exactly as you envisioned it? This is not coincidence. It is the third and perhaps most mysterious spiritual mark of the chosen, creative alignment. You were created in the image of God, the ultimate creator. That means creation is not just something you witness. It's something you participate in. Your thoughts are not idle. Your inner world is not just a private space. For the chosen ones, your thoughts are seeds, and what you focus on consistently becomes the reality you walk into. This isn't wishful thinking, it's a spiritual law. Proverbs 23:7 declares, "As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he." In other words, your life will eventually mirror your most dominant thoughts. And if your heart is aligned with God's will, your thoughts carry extraordinary power, not just to dream, but to shape. Throughout Scripture, we see this truth in action. Joseph, betrayed by his brothers and imprisoned for years, never let go of the vision God gave him. He didn't just survive his trials. He aligned his mind with destiny. Even in chains, his thoughts were fixed on purpose, and that internal focus became the key that unlocked his future. The Apostle Paul writes in Romans 12:2, "Be transformed by the renewing of your mind." Transformation doesn't begin on the outside, it starts within. Your thoughts are the architects of your reality. And when your mind is synchronized with heaven, your thoughts begin to carry the frequency of creation itself. That's why your imagination feels different. That's why your prayers often become patterns in your life, because you don't just hope, you align. Your inner clarity attracts outer movement. Your focused belief moves invisible pieces into place. It's not magic, it's spiritual momentum. But with great power comes great responsibility. What you dwell on matters, not just for your future, but for the atmosphere around you. Fearful thoughts can grow weeds just as fast as faith-filled ones grow fruit. That's why Philippians 4:8 tells us to think only on what is true, noble, pure, and praiseworthy. Because the battlefield is the mind, and what you allow to take root will eventually rise. You are not an ordinary thinker. Your mind is a sacred canvas. Every thought is a brushstroke, every vision a blueprint. What you repeat becomes real. What you believe becomes visible. That's the power of divine alignment, and it lives in you. So ask yourself, what am I feeding in my thoughts? Are you planting fear or vision, doubt or destiny? Because your inner world is always building something, and one day, you'll walk into what you've imagined. This is the third mark of the chosen. And now that you know it, use it wisely. You were never meant to just observe the world. You were born to shape it, with your thoughts, with your spirit, and with unwavering faith. Carrying these spiritual marks is both a divine privilege and a sacred weight. Yes, they set you apart, but they also set you on a path few understand. To feel deeply, to heal silently, and to shape reality with your thoughts is no small calling. It can feel isolating at times, especially when others dismiss what you sense or misunderstand what you carry. But that isolation is often preparation. You weren't made to fit in, you were made to transform. And transformation rarely happens in comfort. While the burden may be heavy, the blessing is far greater. These marks are not flaws, they are signs of your assignment. They are evidence that heaven entrusted you with something rare, something holy. The more you embrace them, the more your life begins to align, not with the world's expectations, but with God's divine purpose. Living as one of God's chosen isn't about striving to be perfect, it's about staying connected to the source. The first step is learning to guard your thoughts like a sacred garden. What you allow to take root in your mind will eventually shape the direction of your life. You must also protect your energy. Not everyone deserves access to your spirit. Just as Jesus often withdrew to quiet places to pray, you too need stillness to stay spiritually aligned. Most importantly, walk with intention. Let your actions flow from clarity, not pressure. When your inner world is centered in truth, your outer world begins to reflect it. This journey isn't about doing more. It's about becoming more aware of who you already are in Christ and living boldly from that truth. You've spent your life searching for meaning, but now you're beginning to realize you are the meaning. You were never just here to witness truth. You were designed to carry it, to embody it, to be it. These three spiritual marks, discernment, healing presence, and creative alignment, are not just traits you possess. They are divine evidence of who you are becoming. You don't need to strive to prove your worth. Simply by walking in alignment with God's call, your life becomes a message, a living testimony that light still breaks through darkness. So as you move forward, do it with confidence. You are not alone. You are not behind. You are right on time, and the world needs what you carry. If this message resonated with your spirit, I want to thank you for spending this time here. Your presence matters more than you know. And if you haven't already, I invite you to subscribe to this channel. Join a growing community of believers awakening to who they truly are in Christ, chosen, called, and ready. Together, we're not just learning truth, we're living it. God bless you, and may your light continue to shine. Beloved chosen one, this isn't coincidence. This isn't chance. This is your divine appointment. If your eyes are on these words, it means your soul is being summoned by the very voice of God. You've entered a moment so sacred, so time-sensitive, that heaven itself leans close to watch what you will do next. You may already feel it stirring, a tug in your spirit, a trembling in your chest. That is not emotion. It is confirmation. The eternal Creator is calling you by name, not to merely be inspired, but to be activated, not to be stirred, but to step out. This is not just a message, it is a prophetic instruction, a spiritual transaction, a holy moment that will shift the course of your destiny, if you dare to respond. So pause, breathe, lean in, because you only have one day. There are moments in life that feel heavier than others, not with burden, but with divine weight. Moments when time feels suspended, when the ordinary fades into the background and something deep within you whispers, "Pay attention." This is one of those moments, not a passing emotion, not a fleeting thought, but a sacred summons. If your spirit feels stirred right now, it's because heaven is reaching for you. You're not where you are by accident. You didn't stumble upon this word. You were led here, intentionally, precisely, and prophetically. Everything in your life has been building toward this very moment. The delays, the detours, the disappointments, they weren't setbacks. They were setup points for divine acceleration. Now the wait is over. The season of someday has expired, and the season of now has arrived. Heaven has opened a narrow window over your life. What you do next will shape not only your direction, but your destiny. This is not the time for hesitation, because in this sacred intersection between your readiness and God's timing lives the power to shift everything. And that shift begins now, with your response. When God speaks, it's never without purpose. His voice doesn't echo to fill silence. It moves to shift hearts, realign destinies, and awaken what has been lying dormant. Right now, he's not speaking to the crowd. He's speaking to you. The tug in your spirit, the fire in your chest, the tears you can't explain. This is not coincidence. It's confirmation. Your soul is responding to a call that's been echoing from eternity, waiting for your yes. Some may have heard it but dismissed it. Others may have ignored it entirely. But you stayed. You felt the weight of this moment, and something in you refused to walk away. That is the mark of the chosen. You don't just hear God's voice, you recognize it. Today, if you hear his voice, do not harden your hearts. This isn't a general encouragement. This is a prophetic alignment, a divine invitation into movement. Heaven is releasing clarity, strategy, and direction, but it's only activated through your obedience. The confirmation you've been praying for is already here. It's woven into this very moment. Don't wait for a louder sign. God is speaking. Now it's your turn to respond, with courage, with trust, and with action. If you've ever wondered why the road here was so difficult, why the tears, the loneliness, the closed doors, understand this: none of it was wasted. God never allows pain without purpose. The very wounds you thought disqualified, you were actually preparing you. Every silent prayer, every night you questioned your worth, every moment you felt unseen, those were sacred classrooms. You weren't being punished, you were being positioned. The path may have felt broken, but it was holy ground. Like Joseph, betrayed and forgotten before being elevated, or David, anointed in obscurity long before he wore a crown, your journey was not a detour. It was a divine route. What felt like delay was divine development. What looked like rejection was redirection. When you pass through the waters, I will be with you. Now you're here, not broken but built, not abandoned but anointed. Your pain carved out space for purpose. It deepened your compassion, sharpened your discernment, and anchored your faith. And now, every scar carries authority. You're no longer defined by what you survived. You're empowered by it. God doesn't choose the flawless. He chooses the forged. And you, chosen one, have been forged by fire for such a time as this. You've been trained to push harder, work longer, prove yourself louder. But in the kingdom of God, breakthrough doesn't come from burnout. It comes from alignment. You don't need to chase doors when God has already prepared the path. What you need now is not more effort, but more clarity. Not more striving, but more surrender. The pain you walked through in the past was never meant to turn you into a performer. It was meant to teach you to trust the rhythm of divine timing. God's favor doesn't follow hustle, it follows obedience. And right now, He's calling you to step out of frantic movement and into focused faith. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and He will make your path straight. When you move in alignment, things begin to accelerate, not because you forced them, but because heaven released them. Your provision is hidden in your positioning. So stop asking, what should I do? And begin asking, where is God leading me? When your steps align with His strategy, doors will open that no man can shut. This is not your season to hustle harder. This is your season to walk in rhythm with heaven. There comes a point when preparation must give way to activation. You've rehearsed the lessons, recited the promises, and carried the weight of past seasons faithfully. But now, the testing is over. The page is turning. This is no longer a time to keep rehearsing the wilderness. It's time to rise and walk into the promise. Many of God's chosen linger in the shadows, not because they're not ready, but because they've grown too used to waiting. But beloved, you are not waiting anymore. You are released. The anointing that covered your quiet seasons now crowns your next one. Well done, good and faithful servant. Enter into the joy of your master. You passed the test, not barely, but with excellence. You remained steadfast when no one saw. You loved when it was easier to close your heart. You stayed when walking away felt safer. And heaven took note. This is not the time to shrink. This is not the hour to question your worth. The authority that once seemed distant is now resting on you. Don't second-guess the stage God is calling you to stand on. The time for rehearsing is over. You've already been prepared. Now it's time to rise. What once moved slowly will now move swiftly. The season of delay is being swallowed up by divine acceleration. You're not just stepping into answered prayer, you're stepping into a suddenly. The ground beneath you is shifting, and heaven is breathing momentum into every area that once felt stuck. This is not ordinary progress. This is prophetic acceleration, where what should have taken years begins to unfold in days. Relationships will realign, doors will open, opportunities will chase you down. But this movement isn't random. It's reserved for those who are aligned. At the right time, I, the Lord, will make it happen. And beloved, this is the right time. You see, God has been storing favor for you, not because you weren't ready, but because the timing wasn't. But now, heaven has declared that the appointed moment has arrived. What you sowed in tears, you will now reap in joy. This acceleration will not be chaotic. It will be coordinated. You won't have to force it. You'll simply flow with it. So walk with confidence. Trust the pace of grace. Don't look back in hesitation. Move forward in expectation. Because when heaven says now, nothing on earth can stop it. To move into what's next, you must release what's behind. The greatest enemy of your future is not failure. It's familiarity. And while your past may have shaped you, it was never meant to define you. God is calling you forward, not to revisit what was, but to walk boldly into what is becoming. Letting go doesn't mean forgetting. It means trusting that God is doing something greater than what you had to leave behind. The people who walked away, the opportunities that closed, the dreams that seemed delayed, they all served a purpose. But now, that season is finished. Forget the former things. Do not dwell on the past. See, I am doing a new thing. You can't grab hold of the new with hands clinging to the old. Some chapters must close without closure. Some doors must stay shut because what's ahead requires a new version of you. Healed, whole, unburdened. So breathe deeply. Loosen your grip. Trust that what God has planned is not just different, it's better. Every step forward is a declaration that you believe in His promise more than your past. The next chapter is not waiting on clarity. It's waiting on your release. God's plan for your life was never survival. It was overflow. You were not created to barely get by, to live in constant lack, or to shrink under the weight of struggle. No, beloved, you were created to carry the abundance of heaven. And this abundance isn't something you have to chase. It's part of your inheritance as a child of God. This isn't about luxury or excess. It's about wholeness, peace in your mind, strength in your body, clarity in your purpose, and provision for your journey. The dry places you've walked through weren't punishment. They were preparation for the rain that's now coming. You crown the year with your goodness, and your paths drip with abundance. You don't have to earn it. You simply have to receive it. But here's the truth. Abundance flows through alignment. When you walk in obedience, heaven releases what's already yours. Not because you're perfect, but because you're positioned. So don't settle for scarcity when God has called you to stewardship. Don't apologize for increase when He's appointed you to impact. This isn't the time to downplay what God is doing. It's time to step fully into the overflow and carry it with purpose. This moment is more than encouragement. It's activation. What you're feeling isn't inspiration. It's a divine ignition deep in your spirit. Heaven isn't just speaking to you, it's commissioning you. This is not the end of a message. It's the beginning of movement. God is transferring clarity, boldness, and spiritual authority into your life right now. You're not stepping into potential. You're stepping into purpose. Every dormant gift, every buried vision, every silenced dream is being awakened. The alignment you feel is confirmation that heaven has released its instruction. All that's required now is your response. The steps of a righteous person are ordered by the Lord. You no longer have to wonder, wait, or wander. The fog is lifting. The way is becoming clear. And the presence of God is lighting your path, not with explanation, but with direction. This is your prophetic pivot. You're not moving out of desperation, but out of divine order. Your spirit is no longer stuck in survival mode. You are entering assignment mode. So rise. Move when He says move. Speak when He says speak. And trust deeply that what's being activated in you now is not just for today, but for generations to come. You were never just called to watch from the sidelines. You were marked to rise, to speak, to build, to carry the light of God into the darkest places. And now, heaven is declaring, this is your time. You're not just part of a crowd. You're part of a remnant, a royal priesthood, a chosen generation. Many are called, but few are chosen. You didn't earn this moment. You agreed with it. When others turned back, you stayed. When fear whispered retreat, you whispered yes. And that yes, quiet, costly, courageous, is what set you apart. Now the world will see what heaven has always known, that you are ready. You've been refined, not ruined. You've been hidden, not forgotten. And now God is lifting you, not for applause, but for assignment. Not for comfort, but for kingdom impact. This is not the rise of the proud, but of the yielded. Those who have wrestled in the secret place, those who wept and waited, those who chose obedience over opinion. The rising has begun. The remnant is awakening, and you, beloved, are among them. So step forward, not as one hoping to be chosen, but as one who already is. Chosen one, the message has been spoken. The confirmation has been released. The stirring in your spirit was never imagination. It was invitation. But what happens next is not up to chance. It's up to you. You've been called out of hesitation and into holy movement. You've been reminded that delay is no longer an option, that fear no longer gets to hold your future hostage. Everything you need is already within you, placed there by the hand of God. But every promise requires partnership. Every destiny demands a decision. So ask yourself, will you scroll past what heaven just delivered? Or will you rise, respond, and move into the life you were born to live? You've made it this far because your spirit was ready. Now it's time to walk like it, speak like it, and live like it. You are chosen, not just to be inspired, but to make impact. And it all begins with obedience. Thank you, truly, for leaning in, for staying until the end, and for listening not just with your ears, but with your heart. Your presence here means more than you know. If this message spoke to your soul, if something deep within you was awakened, we invite you to join this growing community of faith, fire, and purpose. Subscribe to this channel for more prophetic messages, biblical encouragement, and spirit-led guidance designed to fuel your walk with God. Your journey doesn't end here. It's only just beginning, and we can't wait to walk it with you. So rise boldly, obey fully, shine freely. And remember, what's ahead is greater. Always has been, always will be. Amen. Chosen one, listen not with your ears, but with your spirit. This is more than a motivational video, more than a prophetic word. This is your confirmation that you are not here by coincidence. This very moment was written in eternity, and today, you're standing at the edge of divine revelation. You were never meant to live a life of survival. You were never meant to walk in mediocrity. You were born with greatness coded into your DNA. And now, heaven is calling you to rise. Yes, you. You're not just blessed. You are handpicked. You are marked. You are a chosen one. And the message I bring today is thunder from heaven. God has chosen you to be a billionaire, not for status, not for pride, but for purpose. This is your divine inheritance. You may have walked through seasons of lack, hardship, or feeling invisible, but none of that defines who you truly are. Every trial, every setback, every sleepless night was not a punishment, it was preparation. God wasn't ignoring you, He was equipping you. He was strengthening your spirit, sharpening your vision, and stretching your faith for something far greater than your current condition. You are not here by accident. Your life carries a divine blueprint, and within that blueprint is a calling that far exceeds what you see today. The challenges you faced weren't signs of failure. They were signals of future greatness. Like Joseph in the prison or David in the wilderness, your current chapter does not cancel your destiny. It confirms it. God is not just calling you to survive. He's calling you to lead, build, and bless. Your destiny is not tied to your bank account or background. It's tied to God's purpose for your life, and that purpose is overflowing with abundance. When heaven marks you as chosen, no earthly condition can limit what God has ordained. Your calling was written before your first breath, and now is the time to step into it. God never intended for you to live in lack. From the beginning, He authored a life of abundance for you, one rooted not in worldly striving, but in divine alignment. His plan for your wealth is precise, purposeful, and already in motion. All it takes to activate it is your agreement, your willingness to walk by faith, not by sight. In God's economy, faith is more valuable than money. It is the invisible currency that unlocks visible miracles. The world says, "Show me and I'll believe," but God says, "Believe, and I will show you." Faith is not passive. It moves, it acts, it steps out even when the way is unclear. And when you dare to act on what God has spoken, doors begin to open that no man can shut. Every time you choose faith over fear, you place a spiritual demand on the promises of God. That decision alone positions you to receive what He has already set aside for you. A flow of resources, connections, and ideas that far exceed natural logic. Faith isn't just believing in God's promise, it's responding to it. God has already placed within you everything you need to step into your billionaire calling. Your gift, the thing that comes naturally, the passion that ignites your soul, isn't ordinary, it's sacred. And when you steward it, when you refine and release it, it becomes the gateway to divine provision. You don't need to chase wealth. You need to cultivate what God gave you. That idea, that skill, that voice, that vision, it's a gold mine. And when faith meets obedience, your gift becomes the tool God uses to build legacy, bless nations, and fulfill His covenant of abundance in your life. This moment isn't just about receiving encouragement. It's about recognizing a divine activation. What you're hearing is not a mere message, it's the ignition of a movement. God isn't just speaking to you, He's commissioning you. This is a call to rise, not only as an individual but as a trailblazer for a generation of chosen ones who will reshape culture, economy, and history through faith-fueled wealth. This movement is bigger than motivation. It's about mobilization. You're being called to walk boldly in what heaven has already declared, that you are chosen to carry influence, impact, and divine abundance. Just as Moses led people out of captivity, and Joseph turned famine into provision, your rise will become the evidence of God's faithfulness to those around you. And you're not alone. Across the world, other chosen ones are awakening. Together, we are a collective force, those who refuse to bow to fear, those who build with purpose, those who bless through prosperity. This is not the beginning of a dream, it is the manifestation of destiny. You're not just receiving revelation, you're becoming a living expression of it. This is your moment to move, and your movement starts now. There comes a point in every journey when everything shifts, when what once seemed distant becomes undeniably real. That moment is now, not tomorrow, not someday. Right here, right now, transformation is unfolding. You are not on the edge of change. You are in the middle of it. God's timing is perfect, and today, He is opening doors that no one can close. This isn't about waiting for ideal conditions. It's about trusting that when God says move, miracles follow. You've been prepared in the quiet, refined in the fire, and now heaven is declaring, you're ready, ready to receive, ready to walk in what's already been written. What once felt delayed is now being delivered. The prayers you whispered in silence, the dreams you tucked away, the visions you nearly forgot, God never did. He's been aligning people, resources, and opportunities behind the scenes. All He needs now is your yes. This isn't just a new chapter, it's a divine unveiling. When you choose faith in this moment, you step into a reality where abundance flows, favor multiplies, and transformation accelerates. The wait is over. The shift is happening. And your billionaire breakthrough begins today. Transformation doesn't happen by accident. It happens by alignment. The billions God has prepared for you aren't waiting in some distant future. They're already within reach. But to walk in that reality, you must shift your mindset, your actions, and your atmosphere. Here's how you begin stepping into the wealth God has destined for you. 1. Believe bigger. Every breakthrough begins with belief. Not belief in what you see, but in what God has said. If you continue to think small, you'll live small, even with a big calling. God is not limited by your past, your education, or your resources. The only thing that can limit His blessings is your own belief. So stretch your faith. Believe that you're not just meant to have enough, but more than enough. Believe that your gift is valuable, your vision is needed, and your future is overflowing. 2. Take inspired action. Faith without action is empty. Once you believe, you must move. That business plan? Start writing it. That call you've been delaying? Make it. That idea that won't leave you alone? Pursue it. God gives divine ideas, but He expects earthly obedience. When you take that first step, even if it's small, you activate the flow of heaven's provision. 3. Guard your environment. Your destiny requires protection. Surround yourself with voices that lift your vision, not those that shrink it. Be intentional about who you let speak into your life. A billionaire mindset can't thrive in a poverty atmosphere. Stay connected to people, messages, and environments that cultivate faith, vision, and purpose. Together, these steps don't just prepare you for wealth, they position you to receive it. Your billions are not found in someday. They're accessed through bold belief, consistent action, and a guarded atmosphere of faith. Every great calling will face great resistance. But don't mistake opposition for failure. It's actually a signal that you're nearing breakthrough. When you begin to step into what God has spoken over your life, expect the enemy to push back. Why? Because your rise threatens everything that tried to keep you small. Doubt may creep in. Delays may frustrate you. People may misunderstand your journey, but none of it can stop what God has ordained. Resistance isn't rejection, it's revelation. It reveals how close you are to the door of destiny. The heat always intensifies just before the gold is refined. Remember, David faced Goliath just before becoming a national hero. Joseph was imprisoned right before being elevated to power. Your challenges aren't random. They're refining you, sharpening your focus, and deepening your faith for the abundance ahead. So when pressure rises, don't retreat. Press in. When lies whisper, "You're not enough," declare the truth. You were chosen for this. Resistance doesn't mean stop. It means God is about to launch you. Your billionaire destiny isn't behind you. It's right on the other side of the pressure you're pushing through. Stay the course. The promise is closer than it's ever been. This moment isn't just about receiving encouragement, it's about recognizing a divine activation. What you're hearing is not a mere message, it's the ignition of a movement. God isn't just speaking to you, He's commissioning you. This is a call to rise, not only as an individual but as a trailblazer for a generation of chosen ones who will reshape the wealth God is pouring into your life. Isn't just for comfort, it's for calling. You weren't chosen to simply accumulate riches. You were chosen to build a legacy that echoes through eternity. Every blessing He places in your hands carries purpose, and every dollar is a tool to heal, uplift, and restore. Your billions are not just a reward, they are a responsibility. They're meant to break cycles of poverty, fund dreams that have been silenced by lack, and plant seeds that future generations will harvest. Just as Solomon's wisdom built a kingdom of influence, and Joseph's strategy saved nations, your wealth is meant to transform lives beyond your own. This isn't about personal success. It's about kingdom impact. When God blesses you, He blesses through you. The legacy you're building will outlive your name, your time, and your reach. Schools will be founded, ministries launched, communities rebuilt, all flowing from the overflow God is entrusting to you. You are not just a recipient of wealth, you are a vessel of divine impact. And as you walk in obedience, your life will become a living testimony that when God blesses a chosen one, generations are changed forever. This is the part where you decide, will you shrink back, or will you rise? Will you chase what the world says is safe, or walk in the supernatural? God has written your name on this calling. Heaven is moving. Angels are aligning. Wealth is shifting. This is not a dream. This is your moment. You are no longer a slave, but God's child. And since you are His child, God has made you also an heir. Galatians 4:7. An heir to what? Billions. An heir to how much? All of it. An heir for when? Today. If this message stirred your spirit, take action. Drop 777 in the comments as a divine signal of agreement. Subscribe to this movement of chosen ones rising. Like this video to lock in this spiritual transaction. Write down your vision. Speak it daily. Live it boldly. Chosen one, your wealth is not just for you. It's for the world. Your life will be living proof that God keeps His promises. You're not just touching billions. You're transforming them into blessings. You're not waiting. You're walking in it now. Heaven hears you. The earth will soon see you, and history will remember you. Have you ever gazed into the mirror and sensed a radiance that didn't exist before? A brightness in your eyes, a smoothness in your skin, not from any product or treatment, but from something deeper, something eternal? Welcome, chosen one. What you are witnessing is not just a shift in how you look, it's a transformation in who you are. You are no longer bound by the rules of time. Your aging has slowed, perhaps even reversed, because you are awakening to a higher spiritual reality. You are stepping into your divine inheritance, eternal vitality. This journey you are on is not about vanity. It's about vibrancy. It's about healing. It's about becoming aligned so fully with the universe that your soul rewrites the story your body once told. Let us explore why you are no longer aging, not in theory, but in the very real, profound metamorphosis unfolding within you. 1. Stress has fallen away. Your soul now breathes peace. Aging begins not on the skin, but deep within the nervous system, where tension builds, where worry lingers, where cortisol silently erodes vitality. For years, stress was your silent companion, carving lines across your face and fatigue into your spirit. But now, something extraordinary is happening. Through your spiritual awakening, the relentless tide of stress has begun to retreat. You've discovered sacred stillness, perhaps in morning meditation, in the steady rhythm of breath, reflective prayer. These are no longer habits. They are holy rituals that reshape your biology. Each inhale becomes a moment of peace, each exhale a release of what no longer serves you. Stress hormones decline, and in their absence, your body begins to heal. Your face softens, your energy returns. A glow begins to emerge, not from cosmetics, but from calm. This inner transformation is not invisible. It radiates outward. Your skin becomes clearer, your posture more relaxed, your voice more centered. People notice. There's something different, something lighter, something ageless about you. It's not magic, it's alignment. Just like the Sherpa people of the Himalayas, whose calm endurance shields them from the wear of time, you now carry a serenity that protects your youth. You're not simply managing stress, you are dissolving it, and in its place rises peace, warm, gentle, and timeless. This is the first true reversal. The unraveling of stress is the beginning of your return, not just to health, but to radiant spiritual youth. 2. Your body is becoming a temple, free of toxins. As your inner world began to shift, so did your relationship with your body. What was once just a vessel for survival is now honored as a sacred temple, a living, breathing reflection of your spirit. You no longer eat merely to satisfy hunger or fill emotional voids. Instead, you eat to nourish, to cleanse, and to awaken. Each bite is now intentional. You've moved away from processed foods, artificial ingredients, and chemical-laden drinks. In their place, you've embraced nature's abundance, fresh fruits, vibrant vegetables, healing herbs, and pure, living water. These are not just food items. They are gifts from the earth, sacred offerings that purify you from the inside out. With every clean meal and every sip of water, your body thanks you. The toxins that once clouded your energy and dulled your glow are now being flushed away. Your organs are restoring balance. Your cells are rejuvenating. Your skin no longer bears the fatigue of internal clutter. Instead, it shines with a quiet, confident radiance. But this transformation is more than physical. It is spiritual. You are reclaiming your body as a space of reverence. Each morning you rise and cleanse not just your body, but your energy. You start the day lighter, clearer, and more alive. You've aligned yourself with the timeless wisdom of the Hunza people, whose longevity and youthful appearance are rooted in toxin-free living and pristine mountain water. Their secret has never been hidden. It has always been simplicity, purity, and balance. Now that same wisdom flows through you. Your commitment to clean living is not a trend, it's a devotion. And the reward is undeniable. Vitality, lightness, and an unmistakable glow that reveals what words cannot. You are no longer just living, you are radiating. 3. Inner peace has become your new reflection. There is a quiet transformation that happens not in grand gestures, but in the stillness of your soul. As you journey deeper into spiritual awakening, you begin to notice that the chaos which once echoed within you has gone silent. In its place is something far more powerful: peace. This peace didn't arrive all at once. It came softly, like morning light creeping through a window. It grew with every whispered affirmation, every heartfelt prayer, every moment spent in gratitude. You began to let go of grudges, regrets, and the constant striving for things that never truly fulfilled you. In releasing them, your spirit found room to breathe. And as your soul calmed, your body followed. The tension in your face softened. The furrow in your brow faded. Your expression, once marked by worry or weariness, now carries the serenity of someone who is deeply anchored in the present moment. What you see in the mirror now is not just a younger version of yourself, it is a truer one. Your eyes reflect clarity, not confusion. Your smile, once guarded, now opens naturally and often. You exude a quiet joy, not because life has become easier, but because you've become lighter. You've tapped into the same current of peace that sustains the long-living Okinawans, who live with Ikigai, a deep sense of purpose and harmony. Like them, you've discovered that peace is not a luxury. It is a lifeline. And now, that peace has become your reflection. It radiates from your skin, flows through your gestures, and surrounds you in a presence that others feel even before you speak. You are no longer shaped by the world's noise. You are shaped by your inner stillness. And in that stillness, you have found a beauty that time cannot touch. 4. Detox has become divine. There was a time when movement felt like obligation and health routines were boxes to check off. But now, something sacred has taken root within you. The act of cleansing, once physical, has become a divine ritual that flows through every part of your being. As your spiritual awakening deepened, you began to feel the connection between body, mind, and spirit. You no longer move just to burn calories. You move to release stagnant energy. You breathe not just to live, but to cleanse your soul with every inhale, every exhale. Daily rituals like walking in nature, practicing yoga, or engaging in breathwork have become more than habits. They are moments of alignment. You are no longer forcing your body into change. You are inviting it into harmony. Each stride, each stretch, each breath now activates your body's natural purification systems. You sweat with intention. You breathe with awareness. And as a result, your inner world grows clearer, and your outer world begins to reflect that clarity. Your skin, once dulled by unseen toxins, now glows with quiet strength. Your energy is no longer heavy. It is luminous. You move through life with the grace of someone who is deeply in tune with their essence, like the people of Sardinia who integrate clean eating and daily movement into their long, vibrant lives. You've made detoxification a way of being. It's not a temporary reset. It's a lifestyle of reverence. Through this divine cleansing, your body becomes lighter, your mind sharper, and your spirit more vibrant. And with each new day you are reminded, the more you release, the more you shine. Detox is no longer something you do. It is who you are becoming. 5. Your nutrients are now nectar for the soul. Food is no longer just fuel. It has become a sacred exchange between your body and the divine. With each mindful bite, you are no longer feeding just your physical form. You are nourishing your soul. This shift did not come through diet trends or nutritional fads. It came through awareness. You began to listen to your body's wisdom, choosing vibrant, life-giving foods that speak the language of healing. Bright fruits, leafy greens, whole grains, seeds from the earth, all are now received as blessings, not burdens. Because your energy is balanced, your body absorbs nutrients with remarkable efficiency. What once passed through unnoticed now becomes vital elixirs, strengthening every cell. Your hair grows thicker, glossier. Your nails become resilient. Your skin glows with renewed clarity. These are not surface-level changes. They are reflections of deep inner replenishment. You've aligned with the ancestral wisdom of the Tarahumara people, whose endurance and vitality stem from a diet rich in natural, unprocessed nutrients. Like them, you understand that food is medicine, and that eating is a sacred act of self-respect. This reverence has transformed every meal into a moment of communion. Your body, once tired and depleted, now responds with radiance. You are not just nourished, you are revived. What you consume now becomes a mirror of who you are becoming, vibrant, balanced, and eternally youthful from the inside out. 6. Your senses are awakened to a new world. As your spirit awakens, so too does the way you experience the world. The ordinary has become extraordinary. Colors feel more vibrant, sounds more layered, and even the air around you seems charged with quiet electricity. Your senses, once dulled by distraction, are now alive with presence. This shift isn't simply biological. It is the natural consequence of living in alignment. As you've cleansed your body and quieted your mind, space has opened within you. And in that space, your perception has sharpened. You walk more slowly now, not out of lethargy, but because you feel the earth beneath your feet. You notice the texture of the breeze, the melody of birdsong, the subtle warmth of sunlight on your skin. Every moment whispers with sacred detail. This sensitivity keeps your mind agile and your body responsive. It enhances your awareness of others, deepens your intuition, and grounds you in the present like never before. You're no longer just observing life. You are communing with it. Like the sand people of the Kalahari Desert, whose legendary tracking abilities come from an almost supernatural connection to their surroundings, you too have tapped into an ancient way of being, attuned, alert, and fully awake. This heightened awareness does more than just enrich your experiences. It preserves your youth. A mind engaged, a body attentive, a soul alive. These are the qualities that keep aging at bay and vitality flowing strong. Through your awakened senses, you've rediscovered wonder. And in that wonder, you remain forever young. 7. You have released the shadows of the past. There was a time when you carried your pain like armor, quiet, unseen but unbearably heavy. The wounds of old betrayals, the grief you never voiced, the regrets that haunted your thoughts, they lingered in your body, shaping your posture, dulling your eyes, and dimming your light. But that chapter is closing. Through your spiritual awakening, you've come face to face with the shadows of your past, not to be consumed by them, but to set them free. You've allowed yourself to feel what once was buried. In the sacred spaces of journaling, reflection, and vulnerable conversation, you've poured out what no longer serves you. And with every tear shed, with every truth spoken, a layer of weight has lifted. You are not your wounds. You are the healer rising from them. This emotional release is not just therapeutic, it's transformative. Your body, once tightened by silent sorrow, now moves with ease. Your face, once hardened by emotional strain, softens. And most remarkably, your eyes, once dulled by pain, now sparkle with clarity. They shine with the brilliance of someone who has reclaimed their light, like the Cuero shamans of Peru whose luminous gaze reflects deep inner peace and spiritual cleansing. You too radiate the freedom that comes from true healing. Their eyes are known as windows to the soul, and now so are yours. The past no longer defines you. It has refined you. With each release, you step further into your essence, unburdened, radiant, and eternally renewed. 8. Energy shifts. Now harmonize your body. As you journey deeper into spiritual alignment, you've begun to notice subtle changes within, fluctuations in your energy, shifts in your mood, even changes in your physical form. These aren't random, they're sacred. They are signs that your body is responding to a higher frequency, adjusting to the flow of divine energy moving through you. Some days you feel light, almost weightless, as if gravity itself has softened. Other times your body holds more water or your appetite shifts. Rather than resisting, you've learned to listen. You understand now that these are not setbacks, they are recalibrations. Your body, like a finely tuned instrument, is being retuned to match your spirit. This energetic harmonization is supported by the sacred movements you now embrace. Tai Chi, Qigong, mindful walking, intentional breathing. Each motion becomes a conversation with the universe. Each breath balances yin and yang, restoring your internal flow. You are no longer merely exercising. You are dancing with the cosmos. Just as the Sufi mystics whirl to align themselves with divine energy, emerging refreshed, vibrant, and centered, you too are learning the sacred art of inner balance. Their graceful ceremonies lead to physical longevity and spiritual clarity. And now, that same balance flows through you. With every energy shift, your system becomes more efficient. Your skin glows. Your body feels lighter. Your mind is steady and clear. You move in rhythm with the unseen, and it shows. You are no longer fighting your body. You are in harmony with it. And in that harmony, ageless beauty arises effortlessly. 9. Your posture reflects your spiritual alignment. Without saying a word, your body speaks volumes, and now it speaks of strength, grace, and inner harmony. As your soul has risen into greater awareness, your posture has quietly followed. You no longer carry the slouch of burden or the tension of unresolved inner conflict. Instead, you stand taller, not out of pride, but out of peace. Your spine aligns naturally, your shoulders relax, and your head lifts with quiet confidence. You have become a living reflection of the alignment taking place within. This transformation didn't come from fitness goals or discipline alone. It came from healing. As your heart softened and your thoughts became still, your body responded. Every stretch in your morning yoga practice, every moment spent in mindful breathing, every gentle reminder to sit with dignity, these have slowly sculpted your physical form into a temple of equilibrium. The way you carry yourself now is sacred. It speaks of someone who knows who they are, someone grounded in purpose, centered in spirit, and open to life. You share this elegant strength with the Maasai warriors of East Africa, whose upright stature and poised movements are as much a product of spiritual tradition as physical training. Like them, your graceful posture reflects deep inner discipline and awareness. This alignment doesn't just enhance your presence, it rejuvenates you. It reduces tension, supports circulation, and infuses your movements with youthful energy. Now, wherever you go, you don't just walk, you embody balance. Your very stance is a message that true beauty is born from within, and that spiritual growth always finds its way into the physical world. You are no longer just standing, you are rising, fully aligned, fully alive. Look at yourself, not with the eyes of the past, but with the awareness you now carry. Every breath you take, every choice you make, and every moment you honor your soul is reshaping you into something timeless. You are not merely aging more slowly. You are awakening into a new kind of beauty, one that radiates from deep within. Through inner peace, spiritual discipline, and soulful alignment, you have become a living testament to what is possible when the body, mind, and spirit move as one. You are grace in motion, light in human form, a reflection of divine vitality. Thank you for walking this journey with us. Your presence here is not just appreciated, it is cherished. If this message spoke to your soul, we invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more uplifting stories, spiritual insights, and timeless truths to support your path. Together, let's continue to rise, ageless, radiant, and alive with purpose. Subscribe now, and let your light inspire others to shine. Life doesn't move in a straight line. It unfolds through different seasons, challenges, and moments of deep realization. For many, society defines success by age milestones. Graduate in your 20s, peak in your 30s, and settle down by 40. But what if the real journey doesn't begin until 40? What if your 40th birthday is not a countdown to aging, but a divine appointment for becoming? If you've always felt different, out of place in shallow conversations, drawn toward deeper meaning, or burdened by an invisible calling, then this message is for you. You are a chosen one, a soul with a sacred purpose, and your life truly begins at 40. Let us walk together through the 8 profound reasons why this chapter of your life might just be the most important one yet. 1. You have mastered the art of letting go. In the earlier chapters of life, the instinct to hold on is strong. We cling to relationships, identities, and expectations, not always because they nourish us, but because they're familiar. Even when something hurts, we hesitate to release it, fearing the emptiness that might follow. Letting go feels like failure, like giving up on what we once hoped would last. But something shifts as you step into the wisdom of 40. You begin to see letting go not as loss, but as liberation. You recognize that release is not about giving up. It's about making room. Room for peace. Room for joy. Room for the person you are becoming. With each heartbreak, every disappointment, and every season of pain, you've gathered something precious. Clarity. You've learned that holding on to what no longer serves your growth only weighs you down. And now, you no longer mourn what leaves. You bless it, thank it for its lesson, and gently open your hands. This is not a lesson learned overnight. It's carved from years of living, of wrestling with change, and of slowly awakening to the truth that your worth is not tied to what you keep, but to what you're willing to release for the sake of your becoming. Letting go has become a quiet strength in your life. It has shown you how to trust the ups and downs, how to let go without fear, and how to make room for what truly belongs. In doing so, you've found real peace. 2. Time no longer controls you. For much of your life, time felt like a race. There was always a clock ticking, subtle, relentless, pushing you to do more, to be more, to reach certain milestones by certain ages. Whether it was career, relationships, or personal success, everything seemed urgent, as if you were falling behind some invisible standard set by society. But now, as you step into the deeper awareness that comes with 40, something profound begins to shift. You start to understand that the pressure was never real. It was only a story you were taught to believe. Time is no longer your master. It becomes your companion. Instead of rushing, you begin to trust. Trust that your life is unfolding exactly as it should. Trust that divine timing governs every chapter, every opportunity, and every pause. This realization brings freedom. The anxiety that once lived in the gap between where you are and where you thought you should be begins to fade. You become grounded in the present, no longer haunted by the past or obsessed with the future. You move with intention now, not urgency. You understand that what is meant for you will never miss you. And in that stillness, in that surrender, you finally reclaim your rhythm, not by speeding up, but by letting go of the need to rush. Time no longer controls you. It flows with you. 3. You discover your true purpose. In the earlier seasons of life, purpose often feels elusive. You try on different roles, pursuing careers, chasing dreams, achieving goals, all in hopes that one of them will finally feel like home. Yet, despite your efforts, something always seems to be missing. A quiet ache lingers beneath the surface, whispering that there's more to who you are than what the world sees. At 40, that whisper becomes a revelation. Suddenly, the scattered pieces of your past begin to make sense. The struggles that once seemed random, the paths that ended abruptly, and the years that felt wasted, all of it begins to reveal its purpose. What once looked like detours now appear as necessary steps in your becoming. You realize that your pain was not punishment, but preparation. Every setback sharpened your insight. Every redirection refined your calling. And now, for the first time, you feel a sense of inner alignment, a deep knowing that you are exactly where you're meant to be. This is the moment when purpose stops being a question and starts becoming a calling. It's not about titles or applause. It's about impact, meaning, and living in harmony with your soul. You no longer chase purpose outside yourself. You remember it from within. You step forward not with uncertainty, but with conviction, because you've been prepared for this. And now, you are ready to walk in your truth, not to prove anything, but simply to fulfill what was always yours to carry. 4. You no longer seek external validation. There was a time when being seen, understood, and approved by others felt essential. You shaped parts of yourself to fit in, softened your voice, concealed your doubts, and wore masks that kept you feeling safe. Praise felt like affirmation, criticism like rejection. And so, you lived much of your life seeking permission to be who you truly were. But with age and experience comes clarity. And at 40, something within you shifts. You begin to understand that real freedom doesn't come from being accepted by others. It comes from accepting yourself. The validation you once craved from the outside begins to rise from within. You no longer feel the need to explain your choices or justify your path. The opinions that once shaped you now pass through you, no longer holding power. This new confidence isn't loud or performative. It's quiet, rooted, and unshakable. It comes from knowing who you are, flaws, gifts, history, and all, and choosing to honor that truth unapologetically. You stop bending to expectations that no longer serve you. You let go of the need to be liked, and instead focus on being real. You no longer chase approval because you've realized that worth isn't given. It's remembered. Now you walk your path with integrity. Whether others understand or not no longer defines you, because your value isn't found in their applause. It's found in your own alignment with your truth, your peace, and your purpose. 5. Your spiritual awakening deepens. Spiritual awakening often begins as a subtle stirring, a quiet pull towards something greater than yourself. In your younger years, it may have shown up in moments of wonder, a longing for deeper meaning, or unexplainable feelings that whispered of something beyond the physical world. But life's noise often drowned those whispers out. Now, at 40, those whispers grow louder, clearer. The distractions that once consumed your energy begin to fade, and in their place emerges a hunger for truth, stillness, and connection. You no longer chase answers in the outer world. Instead, you turn inward. And there, you find wisdom waiting. The challenges you've faced, the synchronicities you've witnessed, the paths that led you through both light and shadow, none of it was random. You begin to see a divine pattern woven through it all. What once felt chaotic now feels orchestrated with sacred precision. Your intuition sharpens, your dreams carry meaning. You find yourself drawn to practices that nourish your soul, whether it's prayer, meditation, journaling, or simply moments of silence beneath the sky. These are no longer habits. They are lifelines. You begin to trust the guidance that flows from within. You understand that the divine doesn't live somewhere far away. It lives within you. And as you deepen this connection, you begin to live with a sense of peace, purpose, and profound alignment. This is no longer just an awakening. It is a return, a homecoming to your truest self. 6. Your energy becomes magnetic. As you grow into yourself, you begin to sense the world differently, not just through sight or sound, but through energy. At 40, your awareness sharpens. You notice how people make you feel, how environments affect your peace, and how your own presence carries weight. This isn't imagination, it's intuition coming alive. In earlier years, you may have ignored the heaviness around certain people or tolerated spaces that drained your spirit. You stayed out of obligation, habit, or fear of conflict. But now you move differently. You protect your energy like it's sacred, because you finally understand that it is. This new awareness transforms how you live. You no longer give your time to relationships that pull you down or conversations that leave you empty. Instead, you seek alignment, harmony, flow. You know when something resonates with your soul and when it doesn't, and you honor that without guilt. As you become more intentional with your thoughts, emotions, and actions, your energy shifts. It strengthens, it clarifies, and that clarity becomes magnetic. You begin attracting people, opportunities, and experiences that reflect your growth and support your journey. You are no longer just reacting to life, you are shaping it. With focused energy and conscious presence, you create space for joy, peace, and purpose to thrive. Your energy speaks before you do, and now it speaks truth, strength, and light. 7. You embrace solitude as sacred. There was a time when solitude echoed like loneliness, a gentle ache that slipped in with the silence when the world finally grew quiet. You may have filled your days with noise, people, or distractions just to avoid the silence. Like many, you once believed that being alone meant something was missing. But now, at 40, solitude transforms into something sacred. You begin to see that silence isn't empty, it's full of truth. In the stillness, you meet yourself again, not the version shaped by expectations, but the one your soul has always known. You no longer run from quiet moments. You crave them. Solitude becomes your sanctuary. It's in these spaces of retreat that clarity emerges. You reflect, realign, and reconnect with the divine voice within. No longer do you seek validation or direction from the outside. Instead, you turn inward and discover a source of wisdom that has always been there, waiting. You understand now that solitude doesn't separate you from the world. It strengthens your presence in it. Time alone becomes a place of healing, of creativity, of spiritual renewal. You find beauty in your own company and strength in your own stillness. What once felt heavy now feels holy. You realize you were never truly alone, because Spirit, the universe, and your higher self have been walking beside you all along. And in this sacred quiet, you rise stronger, clearer, and more connected than ever before. 8. You finally live for yourself. For much of your life, you may have worn masks to meet expectations of family, of society, even of your younger self. You made choices to please others, to avoid conflict, or to fit into roles that never truly reflected who you are. You put your own dreams on hold, telling yourself there would be time later. But now, something within you awakens. At 40, you begin to see life differently. You realize how precious time is, and how costly it is to live a life that doesn't belong to you. The weight of expectation starts to fall away, and in its place rises something more powerful: permission. Permission to be honest, to be bold, to finally be you. You no longer feel the need to shrink yourself to keep others comfortable. You no longer trade your peace for approval. Instead, you begin choosing what aligns with your spirit, not out of rebellion, but out of reverence for your truth. Living for yourself doesn't mean abandoning those you love. It means showing up more fully, more authentically, because you're no longer living divided. You pursue passions that light you up. You say yes when it feels right, and no without guilt. You honor your needs, your voice, your worth. This is not selfishness. It's wholeness. You are no longer surviving life. You are shaping it with intention and courage. And in doing so, you finally begin to live, not for anyone else's story, but for your own. If you've made it to this point in life, through the storms, the stillness, the questions, and the quiet awakenings, know this: you didn't come this far by accident. Every detour was direction. Every delay was divine timing. Everything you've endured was part of a sacred preparation to bring you here, to this moment of arrival. 40 is not the beginning of the end. It's the unveiling of who you were always meant to be. You are not behind. You are becoming. This chapter is not about chasing more, proving your worth, or meeting someone else's timeline. It's about reclaiming your power, honoring your truth, and stepping fully into the life your soul was born to live. You are no longer who the world told you to be. You are who you were called to be. So walk forward with grace, with purpose, with your heart open and your spirit grounded. The best isn't behind you. The best is just beginning. If this message has stirred something within you, if it resonated with your spirit, then you were meant to hear it. Thank you for sharing this space, for opening your heart, and for walking this path with us. If you feel aligned with this journey, we invite you to subscribe to our channel, a place where purpose meets presence and awakening is celebrated. Join a growing community of souls walking in truth, light, and divine timing. The best is yet to come, and we're just getting started.